Okay, aloha mai kākou, e nā hoa makamaka mai ka la hiki a ka la kau. Pelina nui me ke aloha. Mahalo nui no ke akoakoa ana o kākou no ka pono o ka la hui, no ka pono o ka aina, a me ka pono o ka wai no hoi. E he o lalana e ao e kalele ana i ke koi o ka wai a me ka aina ke kahi. Number 991, hiki mai ka malie a hiki mai ka ino. Good weather comes and bad weather comes too. Weather changes. That's for you. We hope for the good weather and the good rain. Aloha, everyone, and welcome to today's March 24th, 2025 regular meeting of the Honolulu Board of Water Supply. Before beginning today's meeting, I'd like to state that our board is dedicated to providing safe, dependable, and affordable water now and into the future. At this time, we'd like to share a brief recording with reminders on public participation, as well as virtual meeting regulations for board members as required by law.
Materials for this meeting under HRS Section 92-7.5 are accessible at boardofwatersupply.com/boardmeetings. The public may attend this meeting in person at the BWS Public Service Building, located at 630 South Beretania Street. The public may also view a live stream of today's meeting on our website at boardofwatersupply.com/live. We have been accepting written or oral testimony for today's meeting. Instructions and an online submittal form are available at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony. The deadline to submit advanced written testimony has passed. Testimony received by noon today have been distributed to the board members. We will continue to accept written testimony today through our online form. Oral testimony in person or remotely will be accepted during today's meeting. To facilitate as much in-person and remote testimony as reasonably possible during the time allotted, pre-registration and submittal of a written version of testimony at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony is strongly encouraged. To testify in person, please register using our online form or come to the Public Service Building at 630 South Beretania Street. We have a representative in the lobby to provide intake and further instructions. To request to testify remotely, please complete the online form at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony. Requesters will receive an email containing links and instructions to join the Zoom session. Testifiers will have 2 minutes to state their position. A timekeeper will alert testifiers when there is 1 minute remaining. Once the 2 minutes are up, please summarize to allow time for questions from the board. Then, make room for the next testifier. Board members attending any board meeting remotely must be visible to the public to be considered present and meet quorum guidelines. Board members participating remotely must also disclose their location and anyone present at their location during roll call. Meeting participants who are calling or video conferencing in, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. If you have a question, comment, or wish to enter or second a motion on an action item, please unmute your microphone and identify yourself before continuing to speak. If you encounter technical issues during today's meeting, please use the Zoom chat to send a direct message to our support team. Their names are listed in the message to all participants. To open the chat window, please click on the text bubble icon on the Zoom toolbar.
Okay, thank you. Let's take a moment to take roll call of the board members. When I call your name, please say aye. And if attending remotely, make the appropriate disclosures. Joining us virtually today, board member Brian Andaya.
Hi, I am in a room by myself.
Thank you, Brian. Aloha. Board member Jean Albano.
Hi, I'm in my office alone.
Thank you, Jean. Aloha. In the
Aloha.
boardroom with me today is the following. Vice Chair Jonathan Kanashiro.
Here.
Board member Lance Wilhelm.
Yep.
Board member Kehaulani Pu'u and Edwin Sniffen are excused today. Also in the room with us today are manager Ernie Lau.
Aloha.
Aloha. Deputy Manager Erwin Kawata.
Here.
Aloha. Board Secretary Joy Cruz Achu.
Here.
Aloha. Manager Secretary Kim Kawai. Aloha. Information Specialist Wayne Maria.
Here.
Also joining us by Zoom, Jeff Lau and Jessica Wong, both from the City and County Corporation Council. Aloha. Okay, we have 3 items on our action agenda today. Item number 1, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held February 24th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Thank you. It's been moved by John
Second. Second.
and seconded, I'll take Gene, seconded by Gene.
Yeah.
Are there any corrections, additions, amendments, or anything for discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Jonathan Conchero,
Aye.
Board Member Brian Ataya,
I'm gonna abstain on this one as I was not present at the last meeting.
Board Member Lance Wilhelm,
Aye.
Board Member Gina Vano,
Aye.
and Chair Nale Anthony.
Aye,
Chair, motion passes with 4 ayes and 1 abstention.
thank you. Please note for the record. Moving on to item number 2, adoption of resolution number 996, 2025, acceptance of gifts to the Board of Water Supply from Hawaiian Earth Recycling LLC in support of the 2025 annual Halava Xeriscape Garden Unthirsty Plant Sale. Chair recognizes Kathleen Elliott Painui. Aloha.
Chair, Manager, board members, thank you. We recommend the adoption of the attached resolution number 996, 2025 that accepts the proposed gift to the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu from Hawaiian Earth Recycling LLC in support of our 2025 annual Halava Xeriscape Garden Unthirsty Plant Sale. The donor's total value of this gift is $1,963.35. The BWS's annual Garden Unthirsty Plant Sale is a well-established, successful public outreach program. It educates Oahu residents about the importance of outdoor water conservation and sustainable gardens. Studies show that more than 30% of residential water use occurs outdoors, so it makes sense for us to promote water-saving methods in this area, which in turn can reduce the customer's combined water and wastewater bill. The donation from Hawaii Earth Recycling LLC allows the BWFs to give free compost to plant sale visitors, encourage them to incorporate into their own home gardens some of the techniques they will learn at that event. We're deeply grateful to the board, and hopefully you will accept this gift. Thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Lance. Do I hear a second?
I can second.
Thank you, Brian. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any corrections, additions, amendments, or any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Jonathan Conchero,
Abstain.
Board Member Brian Ataya,
Aye.
Board Member Lance Wilhelm,
Aye.
Board Member Gina Vano,
Aye.
Chair Nale Anthony.
Aye.
Chair, motion passes with 4 ayes and 1 abstention.
Thank you. Please note for the record, and special mahalo to you folks for the donation. Thank you.
And Chair, if I could invite all the board members that can come out and shovel compost with me, and we do it annually.
Yes.
Oh, yes. What's the
What's
date?
the date?
Oh, it's-
August 2nd.
August 2nd.
August 2nd?
Yes.
Busy that day.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to Hawaiian Earth Recycling for the generous gift. Moving on to item number 3, adoption of resolution number 997, 2025, acceptance of gift to the Board of Water Supply from Hardware Hawaii, HH Holdings, Inc. for Detect a Leak Week. Chair recognizes Stephen Nordstrom.
All right.
Aloha.
Aloha, hi, Chair and members. We recommend the acceptance of a proposed gift to the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu from Hardware Hawaii of 5,000 toilet leak detection dye tablets valued at $600 in support of the Board of Water Supply's annual Detect a Leak Week campaign. Detect a Leak Week will be observed this year from April 13th through the 19th. The goal is to raise awareness and encourage the public to conserve water by detecting and repairing leaks. According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, minor water leaks caused by running toilets, dripping faucets, and other household leaks account for more than 1 trillion gallons of water wasted each year across the United States. Even small leaks can create a significant amount of water waste, costing customers money. And one of the most common household leaks is found right inside the toilet. It's a worn out or faulty flapper that's usually decays over time. So it's highly recommended to replace those every 5 years. And so during Detect a Leak Week, the public can pick up toilet leak detection dye tablets at any Hardware Hawaii store. There is our sponsor this year again, Satellite City Hall locations, and at the Board of Water Supply's Public Service Building. And this year, we're going to have two big events. We're going to have one on Sunday, April 13th to kick off Detect a Leak Week. That will be at Pro Ridge Center from 11:30 to 1:30, and then at Kahala Mall to end the week from 11:30 a.m. in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon. So we greatly appreciate the continued participation and commitment of our community partners and customers who support this worthwhile program while encouraging all our customers to embrace their role as responsible stewards of our precious water resource.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Thank you. It's been moved by Brian. Was that Brian?
That was G.
There's
I
me,
think.
Sorry, Gene. That was Gene. I looked for who was unmuted. Both of you guys are unmuted.
I'll second.
There you go.
Okay, it's been moved by Gene and seconded by Brian. Any additions, corrections, amendments? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Amy Chair, Vice Chair Jonathan Conachero,
Aye.
Board Member Brian Azaya,
Aye.
Board Member Lance Walhem,
Aye.
Board Member Gino Bonner,
Aye.
Chair Donald Anthony.
Aye.
Chair motion passes with 5 ayes.
Thank you. Please note for the record. And just a huge mahalo for all the folks who are giving up time and effort and some dollars to make all of these really important programs run. Just a quick side note, I was a young intern doing the Detect a Leak Week overflows from many decades ago as a young intern here, and we got to go to people's houses and check the lawn for leaks and check the toilet for leaks, and the water audits were a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm glad that we're still doing it. It's important work. Okay, we're moving on to items for information. We have 3 today. The first is an update for the Board of Water's response to potential impacts of the Red Hill fuel contamination. Chair recognizes Joyce Lynn. Aloha, Joyce.
Chair and board members, this is your March 2025 Red Hill update. This past month, we had an opportunity to meet with the UH Manoa, Dr. Don Thomas, and his colleague, Dr. Tomas Parrott, on the UH Tracer study conducted for around the Red Hill facility, Red Hill Bulk Fuel Storage Facility. They provided us just an overview of the study. The red tracer dye were mixed with water and injected into their monitoring well number 8 on February 10th. And they are doing systematic regular monitoring at Red Hill Shaft as well as monitoring wells nearby. At the time, they weren't seeing any detections. And as the latest on March 12th, when I attended the Navy Closure Task Force, I had an opportunity to speak with the Navy staff, individuals that were working in their sampling team. And I asked them if they've been seeing any updates, any detections at the monitoring wells. And I was told that they have not been seeing any detections just yet. I was informed by the Navy staff that they have been adding, after a few weeks of not seeing any detections at the Red Hill Shaft, as well as their nearby monitoring wells, they went ahead and added more water to try to see if they can, in a way, flush the dye down. So we're not too, and at this time, they said they still have not seen anything. We were able to come to an agreement during the meeting with UH Manoa that we will be having regular meetings with them. So we have a follow-up meeting scheduled this week on Thursday. So hopefully we have more updates regarding the Red Hill Tracer study. Moving on to our Board of Water Supply monitoring well status updates. Right now, we have 2 monitoring wells in construction. Site H, which is located along the Halava Valley Access Road right next to the prison, as well as monitoring well at Site A, which is at the Halava District Park. Both wells construction is ongoing, and going well so far, and we're anticipating completion in the coming month. As for Red Hill closure updates, I was informed during the Navy Closure Task Force open house that Tank 3 began the ventilation on March 12th, and pressure washing of Tank 7 has completed. And some of the numbers have adjusted since. As of March 18, a total of 534 gallons of residual fuel has been recovered at the bottoms of the tanks, and a total of 178 gallons of sludge has been recovered. And just some updates regarding legislation, House Bill 505 regarding the Red Hill Vibe Coordinator is still moving along. They have both the House bill and the Senate bill passed second readings and are headed to their following committees. Unfortunately, House Bill 1367 with its companions, Senate Bill 1634, which appropriates a $20 million in general obligation bond for the Board of Water Supply to construct up to 6 monitoring well, did not make it through finance and has since died for this session. But that's okay. We will be regrouping and reintroducing and restart where we left off next calendar year. And so just upcoming events, we have this week, also on Thursday, we have the number 18 Red Hill CRI meeting coming up, as well as the Fuel Tank Advisory Committee meeting scheduled for April 9th. Time and location is still to be determined, but I assume it would be at the Blaisdell again, as it used to. But yeah, this concludes my update. I'm available for any questions.
Members, any questions? I just have a couple. Can you go back to the slide that has all the tanks? So the, you know, the ones that are not in color?
Right.
Are the white ones done?
No, those needs to be cleaned.
What is the ones in black?
Those ones are already emptied at the time of
I see.
process.
Okay, so they're just working their way up. Okay, none have gotten completely done yet. They're still in.
They're still in the
phases.
process of getting cleaned out and slated for closure.
Okay, and then Wayne, can you go to the legislative one? Any further discussion on 1367, how we keep the momentum going? By the way, thank you for the update on the 2 wells that look like they're almost done. How do we keep the momentum going on our end on making sure that we're continuing through the process of drilling more wells?
So for the Board of Water Supply, we're still proceeding to, as we get the permits for more monitor wells to be installed, we're gonna go ahead and move forward to drill them using our funds.
Okay.
Also, we're doing exploratory wells to replace some of the source capacity from the 3 shutdown wells. You know, those are still proceeding. Some of the challenges I've been trying to work through the permitting process to get the permit to just drill the exploratory well. In the meantime, while we basically we understand, you know, that right now the legislature is dealing with a lot of issues.
Sure.
So this year didn't seem like a good time to actually continue to push this, but using next session and actually the time between the sessions to go and meet with key legislators, especially those that are like overseeing the CIP budgets on the House side and the Senate side, to kind of educate them and see if we can get their support and perhaps go back next year. Some of the other ideas too is not only Red Hill related, but just looking at the need for infrastructure capacity to do outreach to the governor and the mayor to see how we can collaborate together to build more infrastructure capacity for our future.
If the VI coordinator and other positions make it through, do you see that as a useful answer to that? Is that somewhere where we can start, or?
I think it's a very good place to have kind of a dedicated person. And I think the VI coordinator includes some support staff to have that actually dedicated now a permanent part of DLNR.
Okay.
And what we're doing here is in the meantime, while the federal government is headed in different directions, potentially on, we're not sure yet on Red Hill where that direction might go. But to actually build at the state level, some infrastructure or organization in state law to keep the momentum going on Red Hill. Because this is a long-term
Yep.
issue to deal with.
Agree. And then one last one. If you can just keep us updated on the tracer study, I'm really curious that none of this dye has turned up anywhere.
Yeah, I think Joyce, they anticipate that they would have seen it earlier.
They anticipated seeing it at Red Hill Shaft within the first couple of weeks because of the increased pumping rate. Or at least at the nearby monitoring wells where they've had their meters set up, sensors, but they weren't seeing anything at all.
Yeah, so the Red Hill Shaft was continue to be pumped as a kind of a quote unquote capture and treat arrangement where we could try to capture contamination in the aquifer in that area, petroleum contamination. And they increased pumping from under 2 million gallons a day to, I think, over 4 and a little bit above 4 million gallons a day.
And still going out to the stream.
Still going out through the gas units to the stream.
Okay.
And they did that to try to draw the tracer more quickly from Monitor Well 8, which is located maybe, Wayne, if you can bring back the picture of the tank farm. I think it's maybe around where you see tanks 9 and 11.
Yeah.
I think sort of midway on that side of the tank farm, it's Monitor Well 8, where they actually injected the dye into the aquifer at that point. And Red Hill Shaft is down below tanks 1 and 2.
Right.
That they thought they would see it more quickly.
Okay. Brian has his hand up as well. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. This is the perfect slide I had a question on. What is the timeline for the closure of the remaining tanks? I guess the ones 7, 5, 3, 4, 6, and 8.
According to the closure plan, it was tentatively August of 2027 is when closure is scheduled to be completed. But
All tanks. Okay.
When the incident occurred in November 2021, actually more like started in May, they were using 14 of the 20 tanks with fuel. And you can see some of the tanks were actually in that clean, inspect, and repair mode, so they're empty too. So they actually have to clean out about 14 tanks.
Let me see.
Residual fuel and sludge.
And are they so if it's 2027, that's about 2 years out. It seems they would be on schedule. Would that be a fair assessment as far as their timeline goes?
Possibly, I think we need to look at their updated schedule site. I think it was final closure in 2028, I think.
cleanup is 2027, and then doing all the other works would be 2028. Their master schedule is actually cut off currently. The one that's on their website, it got cut off.
Oh,
I like to look.
we'll ask them to make sure our complete schedule is posted. The other thing they're gonna be doing is apparently that they're also gonna be looking at removing the 3 large pipes that run from the tank farm all the way to Pearl Harbor. In total length, about 9 miles of pipelines. And they have to take it out section by section and do it very carefully because there could still be some residual fuel left over in the pipeline, maybe behind valves or fittings that they have to drain out and dispose of carefully. So that work might start sometime this year.
I would need to double check that.
Yeah.
And then something really intrigued me, that discussion right before this. I know that Red Hill Shaft is below tanks 1 and 2. And something about they increased the pumpage rate recently, But-
Yeah,
but no sign of fuel, or did I hear that correctly?
No sign of the dye tracer from the tracer study.
yeah, not fuel, but yeah, tracer. They're looking for that
Red tracer.
red colored tracer.
And I'm not a scientist, but the theory would be if you had the red tracer appear in Red Hill Shaft, then that means that there's the trajectory of that red tracer, it would show that trajectory, but because it's not appearing in the Red Hill Shaft, despite the increased pumpage rate, we don't know where that red tracer is going. Is that the kind of the
I guess
idea?
that basically that's what it comes down to. I think they're also monitoring at other wells, monitor wells in the area too, to see if they also might detect it at other monitor wells. Given the complexity of the geology in the area, so we look forward to getting the updates on a regular basis from there, hearing from them later this week on if they're actually detecting low amounts of the tracer at other locations. The idea is to try to figure out how water flows in this area.
And
I just want to,
oh, sorry,
Go ahead.
I'm
No, go
probably
ahead.
jumping the gun here. And I'm just playing devil's advocate, but can we then surmise, our own water system, Halava Shaft, that if it's not migrating, then would it follow that it's safer for us to, I mean, I'm not saying we should, but would would it follow that it's a little bit safer for us to turn our shaft back on?
I don't think so, Brian. The simple reason this tracer study is very limited.
Okay.
And there also the Navy and one of our testifiers that submitted written testimony, Meredith Wilson, referred to the Navy's groundwater flow model and the EPA's comments back to the Navy on data on February 18th. There's a lot of different pieces of information that needs to be taken together, including the groundwater flow model, the monitor well information, this tracer study, to even try to understand the complex type geology of this area and how groundwater flows. We do know now that we consistently pick up PFAS contamination in Halava Shaft. So we know now, and it's just I saw an email from Erwin, our deputy managers, that because of the levels of PFAS that we're finding in Halava Shaft, to be able to turn it on, we're going to have to invest in a treatment system. So, especially since the EPA recently passed last year drinking water regulations for some of those PFAS chemicals in drinking water.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Undine's.
Yeah, I mean, just for clarity's sake, like the dye is red, but you're actually testing for a compound, right? In the water quality testing that.
Yeah, actually, it's a fluorescence. We're measuring fluorescence in the water.
Are we gonna measure our wells as well as just a safety precaution to see if we see anything?
That's our plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, looking forward to hearing more. Thank you. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you, Joyce.
I was moving on, but we have two pieces of testimony of which
Yeah.
Ernie referenced one of them, which is Meredith Wilson provided written testimony. I think I saw an email go by, so for those of you online, you should have the written testimony packet. I apologize. And we have Susan. Susan Nicola Davis is here to give testimony in person. Good afternoon.
Last time you did Meredith first, so,
She's not here, huh? She's not here. She just submitted written.
well, the last time you read it. So I was waiting.
Oh,
Maybe not.
you know what? It just came in, and so I didn't have a chance to go through it yet, but
Okay,
I can read it into the record if you would like. Well, I'll let you go first, Susan. I apologize.
And offer to summarize some of her
Okay,
Meredith's testimony later.
okay, awesome.
okay, we can go through the slides. And what I decided to do was take a look at the whole year of the extended drinking water monitoring plan and see what occurred, detections between March of 2024 and January of 2025. There were no findings after that date so far. In January, February, and March, I didn't find anything, although I'm going to go back before the FTAC and see how many samples they actually took through the months that did not have detections. The first page shows just an example of the raw data from the Safe Water site. And then I copy and paste that into Excel. And then I sort. The March 1st through February 14th, that's the last date that comes up on the Safe Water site by zone. This is during the new, the micro extraction quenching method, which is called MEQ. And that includes the addition of sodium thiosulfate to remove residual chlorine in a process called quenching, which is different from during the LTM. And the reason, going back a little bit in history, the reason why they went to this method is because during period 6 of the LTM, there were a lot of detections. So anyways, total of, by zone, I had a total of detections of 35. And I'll talk about a little bit more about that later. And they were in, I know the print is a little bit small, but it shows the zones. And you'll see A1, A2, A3, D1, D2, D3, F1, H1, and Manana. And you'll see the detections are very low. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit, as far as what the Navy thinks the detections are. Ooh, that page didn't print. Okay, so I gotta go to my main thing. So the next one is by zone. And if you're gonna ask me about the boxes, those are where I totaled the total 2pH. So some of these are just single detections, and then some of them are a combination of diesel and oil in which you add the numbers together. By zone, you'll see it's just a different way of looking at it. The numbers are the same. And the one that's is pretty big is that 1,460. And you add that with 92.4 and you get 1551.4. The next page is all the water hydrants. So there were 35 detections, 17 of them were the fire hydrants. Now, when we went to the December 10th meeting, because I'm like, where do we get any information from the results of the EDWM? So I went back to the December 10th meeting, the slideshow, and I noticed that there was basically 2 slideshows. And they ended the meeting without going through the extended drinking water monitoring information. So you probably could go back to, which is what I did this morning, go back to the presentation, which is on the Safe Water site. And beginning on slides 36, that's the part of the presentation that nobody got to see. They didn't talk about it. It ended right after talking with the experts. But these are slides that were on there, but they didn't talk to them. So I went back and I looked at the slides this morning and I noticed that some of the detections that I have in my report are also on their report. And the one that comes up, where are you? And they give reasons for the detections. So I got to find the one that says 1,000, what is it? 460?
Yeah, 1460 or 1552.
Yeah. They give reasons why these detections are there and they're calling lubricants. And oh, I gotta get to page 36. Okay, come on, Sue. 32. Okay. I've got the presentation in front of me. That's why I'm scrolling. So they did have the information, but they just didn't share it that day. So I don't know what made me go back here. So that one fire hydrant, it had 92.4 oil and 1460 diesel. And their assessment was that it was lubricant. And if you go back, several of the other ones that were detected as hydrants, one was isopropyl alcohol that caused the detection. Another one was lubricating oil. And then another one was skin contact contamination in the lab. And those are the only ones that I can present to you that they're saying it's not total petroleum hydrocarbons fuel. But the confusing part about the Safe Waters site, which is the next page, is when I go to the site and I find the detections, I can hover over the detection and it'll tell me whether it is gasoline, diesel, or oil. That's what it says on the Safe Water site. I'm starting to understand that maybe they're saying these aren't accurate. I don't know. I'm going to find it out at the FTAC. They're saying it's not petroleum. The same detections that I just talked about, lubricant and alcohol, whatever, these are the detections coming up and the little description that tells you exactly what you're hovering over. But from what I'm seeing, in questions that I asked at the open house, I couldn't get any clear. Okay, so go back and look at the slides. At FTAC, I'm going to be taking the numbers of hits during the different months and just do a percentage, like how many samples did they collect and how many were detections. It'll be real low. It's going to be like 0.03% or something. So the question is, looking at these detections and looking at the numbers, they are still over 50, which is their what they call what the lab can detect. Okay, so they're still over 50. I want to say they've moved towards using the new method of finding out exactly what's in there versus what we saw during the LTM. And to me, it looks like they're moving, if everything is true, I should state it that way. The frequencies of detections have dramatically decreased. So we have to ask, is the water safe for consumption? And fewer detections, do they make the water safe for consumption? Now, if they can't tell us what this TPH that I'm finding is, what is it? Help me there. Petrogenic,
Yeah, what's the other one?
that's the fuel one.
Right.
And then there's one that starts at like, yeah, H, whatever. that's what they have to determine, and that's what I talked to Captain Dunn about, is that we're seeing TPH, but Chris Waldron back in March of 2024 was talking about the other three types of TPH. Now, they do the chromatograms to determine whether it's actually fuel or other things. That's one of the questions I'll try and get asked, but it's also a question that's, if you're sitting up there, Ernie, you could ask yourself because you have the presentation.
Yeah, we'll try to ask that. I won't be actually at the next AFTAC meeting, but Erwin will be there.
Okay, well, maybe if you want to ask it, Erwin, we need to know when you're looking at safe waters and it says TPH, they have not broken it down to, is it one of those three, which I did talk to Captain Dunn about, and I had his head spinning because it's the next step. If that's the only place that I can get my information.
Maybe, Susie, you can actually email me the exact question you want.
Yeah. I'll put it in words. I just got to get prepared for April 9th.
Okay,
But they always said that science cannot detect zero. All they're trying to prove is that the water is safe. And I'm not so sure that that's what we were ever expecting, is zero, because if it's non-detect, it's not going to show up. We've got detections that are showing up. So even not getting a zero, which I don't think anybody was assuming that we could get, if it doesn't hit, then we assume that it's below 50. Because that's the sample possibilities, but these are over 50. So that became a little concern of mine. Not a big concern, because I told you the number of detections is very low. And did I do everything else? Oh yeah, you can go back to the slides. And I think I covered everything here.
But this one, so if you could email Ernie the question, Erwin the questions you want to ask.
Yeah.
I'd be curious if you could take these hydrants down and see if they are showing up with detections over time.
That's all I have. That's all they have.
Okay,
Those are for the whole year.
yeah,
And those are the hydrants.
okay.
Now, if I go back and look at my other presentations way back, the hydrants, during the LTM, I would see those hits.
Yeah. And this process is done when? When are they done?
actually, I think end of this month, but they're.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the data is gonna stop at the end of this month.
right.
We
And so far,
we don't know if it's, I haven't heard if the Navy's committing to continue it. We're from the regulators.
see, because if they don't continue something and they just don't continue safe waters, then we won't know. They might go back to what they were testing before all this happened. We don't know what the testing will be.
So the other thing too that's happening
That's another question. I got it right.
somewhat in parallel at a slower speed is, well, actually the IAF lava shaft, the Navy's IAF lava shaft, they installed a temporary treatment system. And I think, Joyce, did they get actual DOH approval to turn that system on? Yeah, the IAF lava shaft. Yeah, and then they're working on a treatment system for Red Hill Shaft.
Mhm.
So I would think of a very cautious approach would be to keep on sampling in the water system while they're bringing those two water sources that were contaminated back online.
And that's another question that we have to have, because we're now reintroducing something that was going on before November 21st. And we won't know unless there's somebody telling them that they have to do this.
So the deadline for commenting, I think, on the environmental assessment for water treatment system at Red Hill Shaft was April 20th, I think. So there's a deadline to submit comments we're working on comments.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking forward to a good conversation at FTAC. Thank you. Suzanne.
Yeah.
Members, any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Ernie, back to Meredith's testimony. So everybody should have it in their packet. I got emailed over as well to the rest of the folks who are online, but maybe you just want to summarize, Ernie?
First of all, Meredith and I are participating in this National Academy's Red Hill Consensus Study as a kind of a community liaison. That group, which is funded by a DoD funding, these scientists are actually going to be doing a on-island meeting sometime later this year, maybe in the June timeframe, where they're going to seek public input. So that's one of the things that Meredith mentions, but also she mentions the groundwater flow modeling report, the Navy's groundwater flow model. They submitted a revised, the latest model report is dated September 2024. So she pointed out here in her testimony that EPA sent a comment letter, interim comment letter back on February 18th of this year. And then she makes a quote here of the contaminant feed and transport modeling used very conservative assumptions that appear to yield unrealistic predictions of the extent and magnitude of petroleum migration groundwater. And basically she's indicated that their modeling does not match the reality of the field data. So EPA's comments were, I'm just trying to look at it, some good comments. I guess the Navy's model has gotten better, but it's still somewhat out of touch with reality.
That was the EPA comment.
Yeah, it was the EPA comment. We can share that comment. It's available on the EPA's website, dated February 18th. And that's Meredith mentioned I'll be traveling to DC later this next month. But I appreciate, I think she raises the issue also that the redactions of like the pumping rates from the different sources, she feels that's really that's really not proper. Some basic information that's still being redacted really don't have a reason to be redacted. I think the Navy is getting a little better, but they still tend to do this. And I just add that the first version of this model report was redacted so heavily that it was almost unreadable. But they're getting better slowly. Anyway, that's
okay. Thank you, Ernie. Sorry, now moving on to item for information number 2, status of all groundwater levels at index stations. Chair recognizes Barry Lusigal. Thank you, Susan.
Go.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. We have 3 aquifer index stations in low groundwater condition for February. Honolulu and Waialua in caution and Kaimuki in alert status. The monthly production was a little bit lower than last month, 129 million gallons per day. Although the rainfall was low in February, there was some overlap of some high rainfall in January. The 5-month moving average is 87% of normal. And the drought monitor shows moderate drought conditions across the entire island. Most monitoring wells are exhibiting stable to increasing head levels because of that. And they're likely to reflect combined effects of the low winter production and the most significantly higher than average rainfall. So anyway, you can see the trend there. The 5-month moving average is still below the red line. But you can see the pumpage is lower than January, but still above the last year's and the 5-year monthly average there. We are hoping for good rainy weather this spring, and to replenish our aquifers, and that's my report.
Members, any questions? Okay, thank you for your time. Sorry, appreciate it. Okay, moving on to item for information, number 3, water main repair report for February 2025. Chair recognizes Wayne Tello. Aloha.
Excellent board chair and members,
Aloha.
Intel acting program administrator for field operation. I have the water main and leak detection reports for the month of February. We had 30 main breaks. 11 were leaks, 19 was breaks. Okay, leak detection report. We had 48 points of interest. We found 53 leaks, 3 main leak, 41 were meter coupling leaks, 7 leaks on customer side, and 2 service leaks. That's my report. Any questions?
Members, any questions? Hearing none. Wayne, you're off the hook.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thank you. This brings us to the end of our regular board agenda today. We do have some items to discuss in executive session. Executive session attendees, please wait until you move into a breakout room. Other participants, you'll be waiting in the lobby while executive session is going on. Let's go ahead and, why don't we, is there a motion to go into executive session and a quick break?
Huh?
Motion and second.
So
Into
moved.
executive session. So it's been moved by John. I'll take Brian's as a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, we are moving into executive session. I thank the staff for their efficiency. We are in regular session. If there's no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved and
I
I'll
will
take Gene as
second
a
it.
second. Thank you, Gene.
Prove Gene was here. Give him something.
Yeah, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.